preview, pre-flight, package, and convert. Welcome to this Markzware presentation. It's November 2022, and today we're talking about how pre-flighting problems are evolving, not diminishing. Before I get to that, I'd just like to briefly cover what I enjoy so much about working for Markzware is that the two founders who are still with the company, the two co-founders, come directly from the graphic arts industry. They created Flightcheck because they had problems back in the early days outputting those print files. Today it handles much more than just print files. It handles all sorts of digital files for online use, covering the gamut of graphic arts. Our customers are from freelancers till print shops, corporations, and large publishers, and everything in between. Markzware has two main product categories: our conversion tools, we call that our bread and butter, and our pre-flighting and packaging tool, which is effectively Flightcheck. Before we get into the pre-flighting and packaging, just so you know what the Marks line is, that consists of ID marks, InDesign to Affinity, InDesign to InDesign, lower versions, Quark Express to InDesign with QXP marks are one of our top sellers, PDF marks, another top seller, PDF to InDesign, which InDesign doesn't offer a conversion to PDF, we do, and OmniMarks, which is a combination of all three of the Marks line products in one, which you see right here. OmniMarks does have some reporting, and I'll provide a simple preview. But the advanced preview, pre-flight and package, is available in the pre-flighting and packaging category of our products, which is Flightcheck. Flightcheck has been completely rebuilt from the ground up with a totally new engine. Our conversion and pre-flight engines are now mixed together into one, and we'll be having APIs and a lot of exciting things coming in the future. And everyone knows what Flightcheck or pre-flighting is all about: checking a file before output to make sure there's no problems. Why pre-flight? Well, obviously save time, save money, and perhaps more importantly, stop headaches. Pre-flight is something that should be done, of course, in all parts of the workflow, not just pushed into the print or the final stage before output. And that's why I like this diagram right here, the quality triangle as we call it. Basically, in effect, if you look at the bottom there at the design process, the time to fix a problem at design might be just minutes. Oh, it might take an hour or two, but it's going to be a lot faster to fix at design than up the workflow at the printing stage, where you might have wasted print and thousands of dollars or euros or whatever currency you work in worth of waste. It's not good for the environment, it's not good for your customers, it's not good for your look, it's not good for anybody. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of resources. So it's very important to catch a problem early on in the process as opposed to later on, where you might need a PDF editor or something which might not even be editable in a PDF. You have to go all the way back to the design process and start over again. And like I noted at the beginning, and the meat of this presentation is pre-flight problems evolve. With the ever-changing digital landscapes, potential pre-flight problems for both print and online use are literally skyrocketing, more than ever. And proof is in the pudding, as we say. Adobe just dropped Pantone support in any event for most Pantone colors. There are a few supported, we'll get that in a second, but very few. And this has led to many unwanted problems, of course, and it's beyond just the color being supported in Adobe InDesign or Photoshop or Illustrator or what have you. It's obviously a huge headache, and like we had earlier, headaches are not wanted when you're trying to get work done. This is a very interesting tweet. This came out on 2 November, and what you see here is, and this, if you check out the link on this, I'll put it in the description below. It's got hundreds of likes and interactions and retweets and comments, and it reads, "Fun times ahead for Adobe designers. Today, if you open a PSD, even when it's 20 years old, with an obscure Pantone color, it will remove the color and make it black." He should have put exclamation points there. Other people have. There's a lot of this going on social media. Pantone want $21 a month to access, and solid coded goes beyond the paywall in early November. And this is just one of many of the problems that are out there right now. You don't want your Pantone colors turning to black and then you recreate a design that was from earlier, and all of a sudden you get unwanted colors in your designs. This is once again the importance of pre-flighting upstream as well as downstream, because you want to make sure that you're not wasting at any stage in the workflow. Pantone in Photoshop was like, as this mock-up would look like this, and now it's coming out like this in many cases. So this is just completely undesirable. Once again, there are certain Pantone colors, for instance in InDesign, I think there's 4 or 5 in the presets there are supported, 4 or 5 Pantone colors, but the rest are not. And why those 4 or 5 are supported, I forget exactly why, but most of your Pantone colors that you've used in your designs will not be supported. You're going to want to swap them out, you're going to want to change them, you're going to want to convert them to their associated lab values. So a whole new reason to pre-flight colors. Of course you can convert them, but you need to know about what the problem is in the first place, and that's what we're going to help you find these kind of problems. You get this error message down below, some Pantone colors may no longer be available due to changes in Pantone's licensing with Adobe. So it looks like Adobe's pointing the finger at Pantone. But wait, there's more. That's right, Adobe drops Type 1 font support as well, starting in 1 January 2023. So just around the corner here, Type 1 fonts, which is understandable on one hand, will no longer be supported. And I'll tell you, from fixing bad files and doing file conversions as a service for some of our Markzware products, which I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of files out there with Type 1 fonts still used in them. So effectively, this is Adobe's website, their help site. And you can read right there that Adobe applications will not recognize the presence of Type 1 fonts, even if the Type 1 font's installed in your desktop operating system. It's that clear, it's that black and white. Just, once again, here's the link for the source, another reason to be pre-flighting with Markzware's Flightcheck, a standalone pre-flight tool. And Markzware's Flightcheck can come to the rescue in this case, and many other cases as well. Flightcheck has ground controls or pre-flight profiles, and these can be used to set up so you can check for unsupported Pantone colors in your digital files or Type 1 fonts in any of the Adobe files that we support, which are Adobe InDesign, Photoshop, Illustrator, and of course any PDF, Acrobat PDF or whatever. Once again, Flightcheck is standalone. You don't need any of these applications to check the file, so someone can be responsible just for checking, not for editing, and some people do that in larger workflows. So here are examples of some of our ground controls. The left is fonts, the right is colors section on our ground controls. First the fonts, and there you see the Type 1 font check that we do. On the right side the colors, and there you see the unsupported Pantone check that we've added specially for this particular problem. And there's many more ground controls. There's many other pre-flight problems to find and to fix. So here you see the Pantone triggered ground control, and what you see is it shows you exactly where the Pantone color is, what the problem is, and what the CMYK values are, so very handy. Now here we are again in another pre-flight results. There's two, this is the inventory mode. There's actually a pre-flight results mode in Flightcheck as well, and in this inventory mode you see the Type 1 font triggered ground control right here. It says watch out, Type 1 font, and it's not even installed anymore on this system, so you don't get a preview of it. Normally you give a preview of the fonts, but you see where the problem is, what the problem is, so you can get in there and go right into InDesign in this case and start making fixes. Same thing for Illustrator or Photoshop, etc. So do you think a Formula 1 driver would rely on a pit stop alone? Of course not, no way. The race is comprised of a lot of preparation before race day, and that's the importance of using Flightcheck in your workflow. Cruise on over to Markzware.com today and download a full demonstration version of Flightcheck. It's still in pre-release, however we expect to be releasing any day now. Flightcheck will help you stop these evolving pre-flight problems right in their tracks. Thank you, David Illing from Markzware, wishing you a fantastic day.